Hi guys, I'm Zena. I'm the editorial director at Hum Nutrition, and today I'm in the kitchen and home of our lovely friend, Chef Mychael Chang. Thanks for having us.
Oh, thanks, Zena. It's great to be here.
Today, Michael's going to be teaching me about something I'm really excited to learn about, and that's kitchen knives. Because I love cooking, but I don't know anything about knives. So why is it so important to have good kitchen knives?
I think the kitchen knife is such an implemental part of cooking in your kitchen. You really want to have a good quality knife. It's almost like having really good pots and pans. If you invest in a good quality, just basic 8-inch chef knife like this, you will have this for a lifetime. You can pass this down 2-3 generations. So you really want to put a little bit of money in investing to a good quality forged knife.
So for those of us who maybe have impulse bought our knives and have not invested in them, I'm really curious like what the difference is between a good knife and a bad knife. So today I actually brought the two knives I cook with at home that I've had for years. I've never sharpened. And
You've never sharpened
I've
these?
never sharpened
in
my
2
knives.
years?
No,
and
like
how
4
often
years.
do you use them?
Like every day.
Okay, let's see these babies.
And you know they're fancy because I brought them in like a bulk grains bag from the grocery store. So, okay. Do you want the worst one first or the better one
I'll
first?
say the worst one first.
Okay, I literally got this on like
see what I'm
moving day when
prepared
it was
for.
like, oh shoot, I don't have any knives, I really need a knife.
Oh geez, okay. Oh, Zena. Okay, yes. Let's see the second one. It says good cook. I'm wondering if that's really
It's
true
like,
with this
it's
knife.
really sad. You can see there's like rubber coming off of it.
Yes, I
like
see that.
it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Okay.
it's made of.
Well, at least it has a decent rubber grip, so it's not going to slip off your hand.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so
let's see the
that's
second
the
one.
worst of it. This was like my upgrade knife.
Okay. This is kind of a mock of another designer named knife. This actually is pretty sharp considering you've been using it for that long. Okay. All right.
Okay, so what is a problem with like knives like these that are not?
Okay, well this one, for
Investment
example, you know, it's a 2-piece against. This is a very inexpensive stamped knife. The forged knife is always made with one entire piece of steel that's cut into one piece. And what's great about something like a forged knife like this is it is one piece, it's not cut, it's not connected in any way. This has definitely been connected, so the handle, if it gets loose, this will eventually come off of the blade. And they do that as well in some of the other, even better quality knives. Like I'm showing you one. Can you hear how loose this handle is already?
Yeah.
This is a stamped knife, but which means there's 2 pieces involved, the handle and this. And this I can hear is already becoming loose. So
Okay.
I personally always like the forged knives, one sheet of steel, cut at one time, and then it's heated and then hammered as opposed to the 2-piece one. This one is, I mean, this one's it's not bad, but the problem with the cheaper knives as well, usually the blade isn't going to stay as sharp as some of the better quality knives, and just long-term wear and tear. I also noticed a big difference in the handle, the fit and the feel of the handle in the cheap knives as opposed to the more pricier ones.
Okay, so you're paying for longevity, it sounds like. It's like, would you rather buy a cheap knife and replace it 10 times in your lifetime,
Right.
or just get one really well-made knife, which of course is also like more sustainable, so
Right, and
that makes sense.
Yes, and well-made is gonna give you a sharper blade. Even when you sharpen them, it's gonna give you a thinner blade on the bottom, so it's gonna cut even better.
So you're getting also those performance things out of it where it's really gonna make cutting easier, you're not gonna struggle as much. Okay, so you have a bunch of different kinds of knives here. What are these all for and why do we need them?
Okay, I just brought out a couple just to show the difference of what you should use a knife for. I think the most classic and the basic one that everybody's familiar with, where people call the chef knife, is a classic 8-inch chef knife, and it's 8 inches from the tip to the base here. And this is great for everyday chopping, multi-use. Is not great for cutting smaller type of items.
Okay.
I have this 10-inch one that's really big. I love this for chopping chocolate, thicker things like that. And then also if I'm cutting into like a big tortilla or a pizza, I like the length of this,
Okay.
which is nice.
That makes sense.
This is also an 8-inch. This is called a slicing knife. It's thinner than the chef knife. And this is great for like a prime rib station or slicing gravlax or salmon or something like that, because it's gonna be a thinner edge, and because it's shorter, the slicing is gonna go a lot faster than a blade that's a little bit thicker in width.
Right.
And then we have our serrated knife, which is known most popular for the bread knife.
Right.
This is also a great knife for slicing tomatoes. tomatoes and cherry tomatoes. Something like this is great. This is a great one. This is called a boning knife. This is when you're deboning the meat off of the chicken bone and also filleting maybe like a piece of Dover sole, smaller pieces of fish.
So it's a little more agile. For
Exactly.
Like
the point is
around.
great. You can get in there and get all the meat off of the bones. Great for deboning chicken. So these are the knives that I use mostly on a regular day-to-day basis.
So if you're at the store, you're shopping for knives, what are just like a few things you look for?
I think the two things that I would look for most, number one, I would always buy a forged knife, what we talked about
again,
before,
that
the one piece of steel.
Great.
And then the second thing, reputation I think is very important. A brand or a knife that has really good reviews, something that you've used before, something that other people give great reviews on. So I would do that, reputation of being a forged knife.
Okay, great. And then most importantly, once you have these great knives, how do you take care of them?
Okay.
I obviously have not taken care of.
So I'm gonna scoop these right over here.
Yeah, feel free to keep these.
So I think to take care of your knives, when you're washing the knives, never in a dishwasher. Never. I've never put my knives in a dishwasher. And even when you wash it by hand, dry it and put it right back. I have a metal rack here that I stick my knives to. Never dry your knives point down. I see that a lot. I see people washing the knives and drying them in the rack like this. Never, it's gonna ruin the tip of your knife. It's gonna bend it, it could crack it. It's not good. So wash them by hand, dry them, and put them back immediately. Never in the dishwasher. Always care for your knives. Make sure that your knife is sharp. I can't emphasize how much it is so important to have a sharp knife. And the ironic thing is, the sharper your knife, the less you're going to cut yourself, because the sharper your knife, the less pressure you're using when you cut.
That's true,
The duller the knife, the harder you're going in. You slice your finger on a dull knife, pushing down on that, it's never gonna be a good idea.
Yeah.
So keeping them sharp,
Is actually
keeping them
safer.
clean, definitely safer.
Okay. So you have some sharpening tools out now. This is always really intimidating to me, but I'm excited to have someone teach me. So
I'm gonna show you.
Okay, what are these?
So I have two sharpening items here. This is a sharpener. This is made from crushed diamonds on top.
What?
It's a diamond sharpener. I put both of them on like a rubber surface pad because you're gonna be doing this.
Smart.
You don't want it to move anywhere. This one is great because you can just use water as opposed to oil.
Okay.
So you're gonna drizzle a little bit of water, about a tablespoon. And then you're gonna get your knife here. I'll use the 8-inch. Okay, so about a 20-degree angle, okay?
20-degree angle.
20-degree angle,
So
you're
precise.
starting here. You're going all the way, don't do this, you're going all the way to the tip, and you're even pushing it all the way back. I'm gonna go about 8 to 10 strokes on each side, keeping that 20-degree angle. Remember, it's important to have something stabilizing this.
Yeah, totally.
I'm gonna go this way. Okay.
Gorgeous.
It's really sharp. So after that, I think a lot of people are mistaken by the steel. This is a steel. This is never gonna sharpen your knife. After you sharpen this, the steel on the edge of your knife right now is kind of separated a bit. This is gonna make it get a little bit closer. So it's just gonna fine tune your sharpening.
I think I get it. It's like a nail file, guys. There's many sides, and the first one's really rough, and you do that to
That's
like
right.
get off the slough, and then the next one is like a smoother, smaller, fine grain, and then you put that on your nails to make it shiny and like bring it together. Okay,
So
I totally get
this
this
is a
now.
steel.
Okay.
And when you're holding the steel, this bar is here for a reason to protect your finger. Never hold it like this.
Okay.
So remember, fingers underneath the bar. And then again, 20-degree angle, just back and forth.
Wait, can you
Get
do
a
that
ribbon.
really slow?
Oh, sorry. Okay, so 20-degree angle, this way, this way, and that way. You could also go this way if you wanted to, whatever way you're comfortable with. And then the more you do it, the faster you'll be, and then you'll be in a rhythm. It almost seems like you're dancing a little bit. So that's gonna fine tune your edges, and now your knife is super sharp. The second one is your classic stone. I actually prefer this because this is gonna make your knife a little bit sharper than that. So we have a rougher side and a smoother side. Again, if you're gonna use the steel, you don't really need the smoother side. So we're gonna start with a slightly rougher side. And for the stone, you're always gonna need, this is honing oil. It's like mineral oil. We use this oil as opposed to any other oil because it's not gonna go rancid. You can't use olive oil, you can't use like, food oil because it's gonna spoil. So generously, get it nice and greasy over there. And then I'll sharpen this one. Actually, you know what, I'll sharpen this one. Just because that might, it's a little long. So we have the slicer here. Again, 20-degree angle, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, I'm going all the way from the bottom, all the way to the tip. 1, 2, 3, 10. This one's gonna give off a little bit more residue, see?
Yeah.
Because it is a stone. I'm gonna wipe. Sharp. We're gonna use this again. Remember, fingers underneath, safety guard. And then because we have the oil and the stone, I would always wash this with some soapy water, rinse before I use it. And there you go.
That's it. So easy. How often do you sharpen your knives?
That's gonna depend on how often you use your knives.
Okay.
I sharpen mine probably once every 2 weeks.
Okay.
And it's really important, this is gonna sound funny, but not to share your knives with other people. Because
Really? Okay.
the way that you hold a knife, the way that you chop with your knife here,
Yeah.
you chop at a certain angle. So it's designed, this blade is gonna get dulled depending on the way that you cut.
Oh, interesting.
So if somebody else is using your knife, it's gonna be different. So I, never share my knives. They're fit to my cut. So the way that, how often you will have to sharpen it will depend on how often you use it.
Yeah.
And if you're somebody that maybe chops a little bit off to the side, one side might, like I'm feeling your knife right now.
Yeah.
This side is super, super sharp, and this side is dull. So you're chopping one
She knows me.
angle from another. So you're gonna have to sharpen this side a lot more. I'm
Oh
gonna
my
sharpen
gosh,
your
it's
knife
so
for
funny.
you actually.
Oh my
'Cause
gosh.
this side is dull.
What a service. Okay, great.
This side is fine, but this side needs some serious sharpening.
So even if you have really inexpensive knives, is it still important to
Yes.
sharpen them? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this side right now is about 2 or 3 times sharper than your other side.
Wow.
So when you feel for that, you gotta give this side a little bit more sharpening time.
If someone is intimidated by this, like, are there places you can go to get your knives sharpened?
Yeah, they actually have a lot of knife sharpening places at the farmer's market,
Oh.
which is a great option. I know that some of the other stores that sell pots and pans and knives, they also offer that service.
Yeah.
So, but farmer's market, you can always find somebody who's gonna do the knives. They also have people that you can call that come to your house. They have a minimum order.
Yeah.
So,
Get your knife sharpened all at once.
yep.
Amazing. I think that's it. Do you have any other knife care tips?
No, just like I said, wash them by hand, don't put them in the dishwasher, take good care of them, keep them sharp.
Invest in your knives.
Invest in your knives.
Love your knives so your knives will love you. Well, thank you so much for teaching me about knives. I feel like I'm ready to go out. I'm ready to get some good knives.
Great.
'Cause I'm an adult. These are adult things to learn. If people want to find you, where can they look online?
On Instagram, Living with Mychael, that's Mychael, Mychael, and then on Facebook, just Mychael Chang.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
If you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Comment below with any questions you have, videos you want to see, and we will see you soon.